Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ruth and this is our second video on actual sewing of the garment. We are going to sew a top with a shoulder princess seam and details at the center. Our following tutorial will be on how to sew the bottom part of this blouse. From this part here, we are going to sew a peplum. So without further delays, please let us start. So here are the fabrics. We have the bottom fabric and the bottom fabric which is plain. So let me remind you of our design. We have a shoulder princess seam and the central part. Our bottom is the peplum, but for this tutorial we'll concentrate only on the top part of this blouse. With our two fabrics, we are going to have the central part, it will be the black fabric. Also, the end part of our shoulder on the front, they are going to be black. And lastly, our sleeves. The end part of our sleeve is 3 1/4 length, is also going to be black. For our back, we will have the black fabric only on our sleeves, at the end of our sleeves, like it is in our front piece. So here we have our pattern pinned to the fabric. Remember, right sides face each other, and this is the wrong side of our fabric. All our pattern have seam allowance, and so we are just going to cut straight. This was our front, and the bottom part, this is our back pattern. So let us continue to cut our fabric. So here, these are our front and these are the back pieces. So now we are going to cut the center part of the front piece. It is just a very small piece. This is the wrong side, right side are facing each other. Now cut your fabric. Remember, we are going to have a piece of the fabric material at the shoulder. These patterns here are for the side front and middle front, and we are going to have the black fabric here at the top of the shoulder. This here is the piece I have already drawn up to this part here. This folded part, these are the seam allowances, these two that I had to get rid of, and we have our final piece. So we are going to cut our fabric, our black fabric, of this size. I have already added the seam allowance at the bottom, at the top and sides. Now let us concentrate on the lining. I have rejoined all the 3 pieces of the front piece just to get one piece like this one, and I did the same for the back pattern too. I just wanted to have one piece only in the dart. Remember, right side facing each other, and this is the wrong side of the fabric. Here we have our linings ready for the front and back. So here are the pieces for the black part on our front piece, and the rest of the front pieces, and here these are for the back pieces. So first thing first, let us put the marks, these marks on these fabrics. These are the marks which will help when sewing. Put a small cut so that while you are sewing, you will be able to know where to join them, and do the same for the front pieces too. Now let us start with our back piece. Take out the pins. Remember, with our back piece we have the central seam, so put the pin, and then these are the right side facing each other. Make sure the right side of the other piece are facing the center part, the right surface side of the center part. Again, for the other piece, make sure the right sides are facing each other, and at the beginning join them with a pin. So remember, just to show you, remember the cuts that we made to show where these two pieces are supposed to align each other. So make sure you put these marks aligned to each other and secure them with a pin, so you know for sure that is where they are supposed to be joined. Now let us take care of the front piece. I have already joined the side pieces. Remember, we have the central part. Here it is. Take out the pins. Remember, this is the wrong side, and inside that's where the right side is. So again, right side facing each other, secure with a pin, and also do the same on the other side too, and put a pin. Now pin the rest of the piece. Now let us start sewing. So here are the pieces. They have already been sewn or joined, the back and the front piece. Now let us iron. Make sure to iron both sides. For the central seam, open it, and also iron the front piece. So here is the shoulder piece. We have our shoulder, the bottom part, the neck, and where the sleeve is. So now remove the pins. That is the wrong side of the fabric. Now pin it to the other fabric. Remember, the wrong side of the black fabric will face the right side of the other fabric. That is your sleeve, and here that is where your neck is. Now take a pin and pin down that black piece like this. Now measure from the black piece 0.5 inches from the end of your black piece. Put a mark and measure the other side too. With your scissor, put a small cut on these marks on both sides. Remove the pins and turn the black piece upside down. But remember, you have already put the cut. You see the cut on the two fabrics. Align them together. Then take your pin and secure them, and do the same on the other side too, and secure it well in place. Now sew on the 0.5 inch mark that we've put, so that we'll be able to turn our material like that. So after sewing, make sure to iron them facing upwards. After that, now it is time to join the shoulder. Make sure the right side of the front and that of the back are facing each other, and join the shoulders. They are all joined, and now let us take care of the linings. Remember, for our linings we have darts. Take care of the back dart as well as the front dart and the central seam of the back piece. So we have already taken care of the darts, as you can see, for the front and back. Now let us join the shoulders, and after that we are going to attach the lining and the fabric. Make sure the shoulders are well aligned and the seams are opened, just like that. Secure them with a pin and do the same for the other shoulder too. So here our shoulders are well aligned. Put the pins on the entire neckline as I am doing it here. Make sure these two fabrics are well aligned. Then sew. Now that we've already sewn our neckline, take your scissor and put a small cut on the entire neckline. So after putting the cuts, turn your blouse inside out, and now iron so that the seam can stay flat. So after ironing, next thing, turn your blouse and sew the seam on the lining all around. It is done. We are now going to start inserting the sleeves. So here is our sleeve. First thing, we have to sew the fabric, which will be at the bottom of our sleeves, before attaching it to the main body of our blouse. Remember, at the bottom part of our sleeves, we need to have this black piece. Measure 1.5 inches from the bottom of your sleeve. The width of our sleeve is 2.5 inches. So lay this black piece on where you have put the mark. The end of this black piece should lie on where you have put a mark. Just like that. Secure with a pin. So I have already put the mark of 0.5 from the end of our black piece, and now we need to sew on that mark that we have put. It means we will be sewing 2 inches from the end of our sleeve, if that makes sense. And then after sewing, we will be able now to turn our fabric downwards like we've seen here. So we've already sewn. Now let us iron. So before joining the sleeve, sew on top of this black piece we are done, and I have also put the basting stitch so that this black fabric can stay in place. And I have already attached the lining, as you can see here. Let us take our blouse, making sure that the right side are facing each other, and start to pin your sleeve. So here is our sleeve. Now let us put the other sleeve too. Okay, so here we are. Both of our sleeves are attached. We have completed the top part of our blouse, as you can see. Please join me on my next tutorial where we are going to sew the bottom part of this blouse, which will be the peplum. Thank you so very much.